The 24-25 season has been absolutely nuts, and I'm not saying that lightly. To finish 17th, our worst league finish ever for Tottenham Hotspur in their whole history. To then go on and win a European trophy. We've waited 17 years to win one, and one finally came back to the lane. To see the scenes on the high road of us all celebrating with the victory bus coming down the lane. To then 2 weeks later, fast forward, and the man that got us there, Ange Postecoglou, has been sacked. Obviously, the big rumours at the moment is that Thomas Frank has been signed, sealed and delivered, and he is on his way to Tottenham Hotspur. But I thought before we dive straight into next season, I thought we'd take a little bit more time to indulge in the fact that we have won a European trophy this season. Yes, it's been a turbulent season, but I want to sit here and just kind of reminisce on what this season has been. Don't get me wrong, not a lot about the league I want to remember. But that being said, I thought I'd ask a few questions to some people you might recognise in your YouTube space and the Twitter space. There's 4 questions they needed to answer. First one, player of the season, best moment of the season, goal of the season, there isn't many, and who they want to go and sign in the summer transfer window. And that's enough of me talking. Get your comments in the comment section below to your answers to those questions. Without further ado, fire away.
Hey there, everybody. Ricky Sachs here from The Last Word on Spurs. Holes, hope you're well. Hope everyone's good out there. I've re-recorded this video because obviously I'm having to reflect on the news that Tottenham Hotspur have sacked Ange Postecoglou. And it looks like at the time of this recording, Thomas Frank is going to be installed as our new head coach, and we are going to go through yet another rebuild, reset, whatever the word for it. Tottenham are going to do it. So, yeah, we wish Thomas Frank all the very, very best in regards to taking the reins. If it is going to be Thomas Frank, I have to say at the time of this video, Holes, I'm just going to react to some of the things you asked me to in terms of this one and give you my thoughts on the overall season. Look, I think we all agree. Been a very difficult season. Very difficult season in terms of trying to navigate and in terms of trying to really progress as a football club. Look, we won the Europa League. Fabulous occasion for everybody connected to the club, us as fans. I think we all agree it gave us our best ever week supporting the club in arguably recent history. I think when you look at the overall landscape, what it leaves Tottenham, I think it leaves Tottenham in a good place where that squad now are winners. And hopefully Thomas Frank, if it is to be Thomas Frank, is going to come in and be able to really pick that squad up. I say pick them up. They should hopefully be in good spirits after winning that Europa League and drive them forward, because there's so much potential in this Spurs squad, and hopefully with some key additions across the summer. And I'll fit this one in quickly if I can. We had the wonderful Paul O'Keefe on Last One on Spurs recently, who did say that, Eze will be a player Tottenham may look at again this summer. I think that'll be the man I'd love to see Tottenham go for this summer, Eberechi Eze. I think we've got other areas that we need to improve, certainly in terms of on the wing. We've got the decision to make over Mathys whether Tottenham are going to keep him. I think you also look around the situation of central defence, and Christian Romero will obviously see what the future holds for him. But best moment of the season, look, it's funny. When I say best goal of the season, is it even his goal? I mean, I probably will say that goal in Bilbao, because the moment and the feeling when that ball hit the back of the net somehow was the greatest feeling. Bearing in mind, I think we look back now, and I think Tottenham's last goal in a final, you have to go back 44 shots, I think, before Brennan Johnson's goal hit the back of the net. 4 cup finals later, it's unique Spurs won 1-0, and that was the goal that got Tottenham that Europa League. So I think that definitely would be my goal of the season, despite the fact no one really knows who scored it, even to this day. But Lucas Bergvall, I think, for me, has been the standout player of the season. I think there's been other players at times, and you have to say Brennan as well has chipped in with, a decent return of goals and assists. But Bergvall came into a team where, let's be honest about it, wasn't in the greatest run of form, and really thrived in a team that was really struggling for any element of consistency. So Lucas Bergvall definitely gets my vote. And I think, as I say, goal of the season has to go to Brennan Johnson, despite us really not knowing if Brennan Johnson got that absolute final touch. So I think we all know what's going to come for Tottenham across the summer and how they're going to have to try and navigate the moments. But like I say, for me, I'd love to see Tottenham go for Eberechi Eze in the summer. I think that's a typical Tottenham kind of player. But there's a lot of work to do, and it'll be fascinating to see how Tottenham do somehow pick themselves up and move forward now, because we've got a new manager. we're resetting again. And yeah, fingers crossed, we've got a really exciting summer ahead with some really good signings, a really competent, decent manager that is a good communicator, terrific in the way that he's so detailed in his tactics, and hopefully that's exactly what Tottenham needs. So to all the Spurs family out there, let's get behind the manager. Let's keep strong. Let's give the players our backing. And I must just say, look, because I haven't said it yet, I want to wish Ange Postecoglou all the very, very best for the future. You know, despite my feelings over Ange over the last 17, 18 months and my concern whether he was going to be able to be sustainable and adaptable over a 38-game season, he gave me the best week of my supporting life at this football club. And for that, I'll be insanely grateful. So, Ange, all the best. Thomas Frank, welcome. If this video is going out at the time Thomas is here. And yeah, let's hopefully look forward to a really, really good summer and Tottenham not only climbing that league table next season, but also hopefully securing more silverware. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. And as always, the way I love to end it, come on, you Spurs.
What's happening, people? Big up Hollie, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's Harry Scarfair, football content creator and YouTuber. Let's get into the questions you've asked me. You've asked me a few really good questions, actually. Firstly, player of the season. I think it's really split. You know, you can literally split it down the middle of the season into two halves. You'd ask me, you know, up until Christmas, it would have been Kulusevski. I think it's easy to forget just how influential and positive he was, in particular in that 10 role, but also on that right-hand side. His flexibility, versatility was so important to us. But second half of the season, Lucas Bergwijn really came to life and was really, really important to us. I'd love to give it to Romero or Van der Ven, you have big game players, but reality is they've been injured for large parts of this season. Maddison as well, I think it's absolutely class, but at times this season's been a little bit inconsistent, but a good end to it, so it's really hard. Overall, I'll probably give it to Bergwijn, and that is harsh on Kulusevski, but it's easy to forget how good he was, so I think that was slightly harsh on him, but I'm going to go to Lucas Bergwijn. My favourite moment of the season, I don't know if it counts, but for me it's got to be at that trophy parade, which I was at, and just that whole day itself is what I'd call a moment. If I had to pick a moment on the pitch, it'd be that full-time whistle, maybe to win the Europa League, or that Brennan Johnson goal. That was scrappy, because it's been an up and down season, but at the end of the day, if you said to any Spurs fan, you know, would you take winning a trophy ending our 17-year trophy drought and playing Champions League football next season, they would have absolutely taken it. And the Europa League's probably the third biggest, you know, you can win behind the Premier League and Champions League as well. So overall, I think it's been an incredible season. It just doesn't feel that way. So that would be my moment of the season. Goal of the season, wasn't that many, but I'm thinking Old Trafford that stands out to me. I think we won 3-0. I think Ten Hag was still the manager, could be wrong. I think it was the third goal of the game scored by Dominic Solanke. If I remember correctly, I think it was a Lucas Bergwijn corner. Papa Mathys flicked it on, and Dominic Solanke with a nice, neat finish. And it's a goal from a corner. It's very good from Bergwijn. And saw the little flick. And it just, I remember I looked at that and went, oh, that's such an efficient, you know, beautiful goal. It could be, you know, slightly wrong on how I recall it, but I think that's how it went. Last but not least, the big question, and that is in terms of the summer transfer window, one player I'd want to sign. For me, it'd be Archie Gray if I had to pinpoint one, but I think he'd be fairly unrealistic. The reason, yeah, my thinking behind it is I think that's that long-term replacement for Son, who I'd be personally, I love him, and I'm so happy for him, more than anyone else, to win a trophy. He deserves it, doesn't he? But I would be open to selling him this summer, and Eze can play on that left-hand side, can play as a 10. It'd mean that we can say to Kulusevski, look, you can, you know, you're a right winger now, and in Maddison, look here, you've got competition, but we've got strength and depth when everyone's available in those positions. I do recognise that. So in terms of someone we're linked with, I'd probably say Leroy Sané, because he brings experience. He's won it, you know, he's done it. And it would be a statement signing. Jack Grealish is another one. So there's a couple out there. Those are my thoughts. Thanks so much.
Hi, Hollie. Yeah, you asked me for sort of end of season review. So let's start with player of the season. You asked me. For me, that's quite an easy one. Lucas Bergwijn. I saw him at QPR pre-season. He just made me go, wow. Bigged him up. Then, unfortunately, he had that game against Galatasaray where everyone thought, well, yeah, it's way too soon. But I kept the faith, and I think he delivered it in spades in the second half of the season. And it's a shame he missed the final. But for me, he's definitely my player of the season. Best moment of the season, I think that's easy. Started crying in the 80th minute in Bilbao. I don't think you can beat that feeling for me. Obviously, I wasn't at the parade because I was still in Bilbao, but I don't think you can beat that feeling in Bilbao. If you were there, you'd understand it. The raw emotion of all those people crying just for days afterwards. So for me, that's easily the best one. Goal of the season, Lucas Williams-Barnett. Maybe that's a bit left field. His goal against Leicester from the halfway line, just unbelievable. Won the Premier League 2 award for goal of the season. If you haven't seen it, go and see it because it's superb. And the last one you asked me was the player who I'd love Spurs to sign. I think this is an easy one, really. I think it's probably the most in-demand player. If you ask the majority of Spurs fans, I think this guy would easily be top of the list. And that's Eberechi Eze. He's Spurs. He looks like Spurs. He plays like Spurs. You know, he's a throwback player. You know, Ginola style, language style, so easy. He's the player that we need, really. Pick up the ball, edge of the box, bang, bottom corner. We don't have a player, a game changer that can just pick up a ball out of nothing when you're struggling to break a low block. He's the guy that can do it. So for me, it's Eze. And hope this was good for you, Hollie. See you soon, and come on, you Spurs.
Hey Holes, hope you are well. I mean, what a season. Tottenham doing the unthinkable, winning their first trophy in 17 years, while at the same time having the worst Premier League campaign in their club's history. It's just so crazy to sit here and reflect on it, to be honest, but I'll do my best for you. I'll start with my player of the season, and it's a really tough decision, to be honest, because we had a lot of injuries. You know, the likes of Mickey van der Ven have been really good, Christian Romero have been really good when they've been fit and available, but that hasn't always been the case. So for me, I think I'd have to give it to Lucas Bergvall, just because we've seen him develop from an unknown talent to someone that is almost a guaranteed starter for Tottenham now, and I think that has just been so amazing to track his progress through the entire campaign and watch him develop into an 18-year-old midfielder who is just going to be so good. I have no doubt about it. I think for me, the best goal of the season, I'm actually going to go with something a little bit different. I'm going to look to that Liverpool Carabao Cup semi-final game in the first leg. I was there at the stadium that night, and it was such a tense evening. Obviously, we're still trophy hunting at that point, still so desperate to get to the final of a competition, and then Bergvall pops up and scores that winner. The entire stadium goes crazy. I think the whole of North London did, to be honest with you, and it was just such a special experience. I'm going to go with that for my goal of the season, but you can't look past that night in Bilbao for best moment of the season. I just feel like being out there and experiencing it and being within the Tottenham community and watching us collectively all just shocked to win a trophy, and the pure emotion that came out of that night, I think it's not going to be topped for a very long time, and for that reason I don't think you can really look past it. It's such a weight off of all of our shoulders, to be honest, really, isn't it? And yeah, there's no better feeling than watching your team lift silverware. So hands down, that is the best moment of the season for me. And yeah, one player that I want to sign this summer, I think for me it has to be Eberechi Eze. I've loved that guy for so many years now. It's a very similar pattern to how I felt with James Maddison. I loved him at Leicester. I wanted Spurs to sign him for a long time. We eventually did, and I'm hoping that pattern sort of repeats itself with Eze. Obviously, he's a cup winner now. He has European football with Palace next season, so it's not going to be an easy deal to do. But if we can bring him to N17, I just think he will take our squad and our starting 11 to a new level. So yeah, I'd 100% love to see Spurs go after him this summer and just get the business done so we can compete in that Champions League next season.
What's happening, everybody? Luke here from Park Lane Podcast. Thanks, Hollie, for inviting me on to do this video. Now, let's get straight into it and do a season review. Who was my player of the season? Look, most people might disagree with this, but I'm not that bothered. I think you can't look beyond Brennan Johnson. I think top goal scorer in all competitions, 18 goals, 7 assists, I think is unbelievable stats for somebody who doesn't really do a lot in games, but when it matters, he steps up. And look, the guy won us the Europa League, regardless of whether it comes in off Luke Shaw or not. He's the player that's in that position. He gets the touch that comes off Luke Shaw. And he's the one that's in that moment when it matters. You could call him tapping merchant. You can call him whatever you like. But he has to get into those spaces. And there's no way that you can look beyond Brennan Johnson for me for player of the season. But also leads into the next question, which is best moment of the season. And again, it has to be winning the Europa League. You know, the vibes that it gave this football club, 17 years without a trophy and 41 without a European trophy. And I've never seen us lift a European trophy. So that moment was very, very special. And those vibes will last with me for a very, very long time. Now, this is one that stumped me, which is best goal of the season. I thought about it, and I was going to go for a hat-trick of Brennan Johnson's and just go for vibes and go for the Europa League final goal. I mean, it wasn't the best goal of the season, was it? But it was in terms of how it made you feel and the kind of magic of it. But probably going to have to go with the team goal that we scored against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League. I think from back to front, the football was immense. James Maddison played an incredible part in that. And I just think that was the epitome of football as it should be played under Ange Postecoglou. And for me, it was an absolutely brilliant goal. But honourable mentions also go to Mikey Moore's first senior goal, Dane Scarlett's, and also Ajayi in the Europa League as well. I think all three of them that night took their chances and can't wait to see more of them in the Spurs shirt. The last question is one more player you want to sign this summer. That's a really tricky one. I think we're really short on the left-hand side. Personally, just for like wingers, I mean, he plays more on the right, but just for wingers, Leroy Sané would be unbelievable. I don't think we end up getting him because of wage restrictions, and I don't think that we love to see in our football club. But we definitely need somebody on the left-hand side. For me, Mathys Tell isn't the one. I don't think we should go and get him. There's rumours about Son potentially leaving, but again, we need more help on there. We can't just rely on the likes of Richarlison, Son, or Odobert when he can play over there. So I think that's definitely an area that we need to look at. Whether we go for a proven Premier League player or not, I'm not sure. The other positions we need is a kind of more central midfielder, defensive midfielder, and I think someone like Adam Wharton at Crystal Palace would be amazing. He would be the kind of key to link up that defence to attack, and I think he's absolutely brilliant. Another centre back would be ideal. I just don't think that Dragoshin is the right type of player. Now, do we go out and get a centre back? I would say there's about a 5% chance of that happening because one of our centre backs would have to leave. So it's either the likes of Dragoshin or Christian Romero, which I hope doesn't happen. So I would say Adam Wharton in central midfield, I think would be a really, really key signing for us this summer. Can it happen? I mean, we should be able to purchase players from Palace, shouldn't we? But only time will tell now they've got European football.
Hello, this is Davo from Grumpy Old Spurs on the Lads It's Tottenham channel, Tuesday nights, 8 PM UK time. So, who was the player of the season? Not a lot of choice, really, on this season that we've just had. Got to go for Lucas Bergvall. Really grew into the season as time went on. Looks like a fantastic number 8. I just hope he keeps us up and progresses into the world-class player that he looks like he is. Best moment of the season, well, everyone's going to talk about lifting the Europa Cup. Everyone's going to talk about City away. My best moment of the season, because I'm a contrarian, I love the bit where Ange kind of took the piss out of Arsene Wenger's comments about teams that win the Europa shouldn't qualify for the Champions League. Another example of our recently departed Australian standing up for the club. Not seen since Martin Jol was our coach, to be honest. Best goal of the season. That's a tough one. I did like Lucas Bergvall's goal in the first leg against Liverpool. I'm going to go for a strange one. I like Kulu's goal against Glasgow Rangers because he seemed to be assisting himself in the same move, kind of like a shaman, metamorphosising himself from one part of the attacking area to another and putting it away. That was Pete Kulu at that time, not that we saw it again since. The one player that I want to sign, this player that I want to sign's got a very long name. Bueno Eze, Adam Wharton, anyone who is a bastard and could be the captain
of our club, because we need some more bastards in the team. That's it from me. Hope that works okay for you. Over and out. What a season. Ta-ra.
So there you have it. Some excellent answers from the guys there. Make sure you go check them all out. Make sure you go follow them if you haven't already and go watch their content too. But I think it's about time I give my kind of answers to it. So player of the season, Bergvall. These have been mentioned a few times in this video, so I don't need to explain why. Best goal. It's a bit of a cop-out. Brennan Johnson, European final. Won us the cup. Next one would be best moment of the season. Goes without fail. Being European champions. And the last one, who I want us to go sign in the summer, someone to kind of replace Sonny. I think as much as we all love and adore him, we do need to find someone to come in and slot and do that left wing position sooner rather than later. Don't ask me who, so I haven't got a bloody clue. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections below. And until next time, come on, you Spurs.